thank you to the dozen of you in attendance and the tens of thousands that will inevitably watch this online for the final debate of the evening, that for the AUS presidency. So we'll begin by asking both of the candidates here, Justin and Arash, the following question. Was Brian Platt an awesome president? Yes or no, and evaluate.
There's no other way to say this. Brian was a very different type of leader than the type of leader I've worked with. He has a lot of his strengths, and I've never seen anyone call people at 2 in the morning to ask them about whether they've done their stuff or not, or to share ideas. His enthusiasm will be sorely missed, and I only hope I can emulate his zeal. That having been said, I think I bring a very different style of leadership than Brian, and I think that it's not at all conflicting. I think it's complementary. And so, you know, farewell to Brian, but I've taken what I can to learn from your leadership, and I'm happy to move forward.
I'd probably have to say that Brian has been a great leader as well. He's done a lot for the AUS. He's taken it, quite honestly, single-handedly from what it was last year, a very broken undergraduate society, to something that's been very, very organized, very up in everyone's face, which is great. He hasn't done it all by himself, but he's done a great job leading people. But he's done a lot. Don't take it the wrong way, but he's done an immense job. I mean, all the events we've had have just been, his support to the executives has been incredible. So I think, yeah, he's been really good, and he's really been an asset to society.
So the next question is that often undergraduate societies try and emulate both the values of their faculty and also try and provide a few consistent things that both the undergraduate society can provide, but also represent what that faculty is about. So, given that you only have 1 year as president, what sort of values and goals would you try to install within the AUS that would sort of lead the events and policies for the organization going forward?
AUS stands for, above all, diversity. The diversity and the plurality of students that are represented, the different departments. I think our Faculty of Arts teaches its students to be culturally sensitive, to be sensitive to the world and being global citizens, and I think that's a strength that we can build on. We need to reach out to all art students, and flagship events like Arts Last Lecture, the Great Art Send-Off, things that we had to cut this year due to austerity measures and just because they didn't work out, we need to bring them back because that's what arts is about. It's about having a heart. There's no heart without art, and that's what we all have. We have a big heart, we can encompass the whole campus, and really we just have to bring art students together and show them that they're global citizens, they're citizens of the world, and they're citizens of Ubyssey.
I think 1 year is a short time, but it can accomplish a lot of things, as we've seen this year, for example. I think involvement is very important. It's something the AUS has been trying to bring back with the Active Artsies program. It's been quite successful, I think, because we've had a lot more involvement from members at large. And I believe if you continue this legacy of getting more students involved, drawing from different sources, not just the general student population, but from clubs, from student services, from people that want to get involved but don't know about the AUS, I think we can establish a broader base of members at large that can help in all our events, be more involved, and just have some sort of input, put their 2 cents in anywhere they want, and just have an arts culture, something we're trying to get back into with our events and academia. I mean, the different programs we have, like Meet the Deans and stuff. But just making sure people know about the AUS, that's very important. And 1 year really is enough time to actually build a legacy that can continue for years to come. So that's involvement will be one of the things that
Among your other roles will be to sit on AMS Council. What would you bring to the table as a counselor? And are there any specific focuses that you would look at or committees that you would want to sit on?
Certainly, having been elected an AMS representative, I've given a thought about how I want to be involved there, and as well, for the past 3 years, I've worked in the services, so of course I'm very much invested in the organization. The most interesting part of the AMS for me, especially after the referendum pass, is that the budget is going to have a lot of work ahead of it. A lot of the austerity measures that were put forward saw cuts to many services and lots of things that students need. I'm really excited for a chance to work on where that money should go, as well as the Education Committee. It's got to be reformed and really set together with the senators and the newly elected VP Academic and University Affairs. I'm really excited to work with Matt because we've talked and we have very similar goals.
In the AMS, I believe one of the major duties I want to accomplish is represent arts to the fullest, and we do make up the big bulk of council, and we have 6 AMS representatives and 1 president, a part of that as well. So I want to make sure that that arts is represented. Everything we do is reflected in the AMS Council to all the successes we have, not the failures so much, which we really don't have that many of. And in terms of involvement, I mean, I did run for the AMS VP Finance role because I did care about our finances, and I already do sit on BAFCOM, so that's one of the aspects I want to pursue. See how our businesses are doing, how we can maybe rely less on them, and maybe, you know, with the new referendum that just passed, make sure that we responsibly spend our money and have a sustainable flow of money in.
The most recent AUS president did not promise to try and bring back Arts County Fair or anything of that equivalent. However, focusing on smaller events that would get in a few hundred people but be intended for art students and not lose a giant ton of money but be something that could be sustainable. Is this the model to go forward in the future? And if not, what is? And if it is, what are things that can be improved upon from this year?
Personally, I do think that the sun has set on Arts County Fair. It was a wonderful part of our culture, our ethos, but the sun has set. Times have changed, students have changed, and their needs have changed. The campus culture has changed so much. And so I think we've made really great strides this year in putting events on that art students want to be at. In fact, all of campus wants to be at. And I think that's something that we can build on. We want to hold more events, we want to have better run events, and this year has been a great start. We've featured so many musicians that have been local, and that's another great thing that we can do. Moving forward, as well, crisis. I've worked in the Science Undergraduate Society through a crisis year. That is, we had a very small budget, and so I'm accustomed to working with small budgets, and the Arts Undergraduate Society is not in the best place, and so we have to be a lot more creative with how we spend our money. For every dollar that we get, I want to maximize the output. So that's where I want to do it, small events.
In terms of events, I believe we've had a good run this year. I believe instead of just jumping right back to ACF, what we have to consider is making better events, making those events eventually bigger, and then once we have that momentum going, maybe then try again for an ACF. We cannot, at this point, bring the ACF back. That's a reality. It's cost inefficient, and we just can't. We don't have the infrastructure. We don't have the logistics of it. So what I want to do is keep on going really hard on our current events, like Mardi Gras, like the first year community dance, all these successful dances that have been organized this year, and eventually, as these grow bigger, maybe combine them all, or even join forces with the AMS to make one big Arts County Fair, but not now, later on, hopefully.
All right, so Brian's asked a question that I'm going to modify a little bit. He asked, art students paid the lowest fee at Ubyssey for their undergrad society, $13 each. Now, the question is, are you in favor of raising the art student fee to expand the art student space? And I think the answer for both, just to be clear, would be yes for that. But the main question is convincing students to vote yes, which is always a problem for undergraduate societies, both in achieving quorum and getting more than 50% for trying to raise fees. If you were to embark on this sort of project, how would you make sure that it was successful, and what would you communicate to art students to make it seem like it was a valuable thing for them?
Thank you for that. My experience has been with passing referendum involving money. On campus, I have been a leader in a variety of roles involving money, and so I want to bring a lot of expertise. When SUS decided to index its fee to the CCPI, I was the incoming director of finance, and in fact, I had to oversee its implementation and field a lot of the student questions about that. And so questions that students have about money is, where is it going? What is it for? Why do I have to pay? These are really real questions that we have to ask ourselves and be able to communicate to students. So I really want students to understand how their money is being spent, and that's part of my platform. I want a public budget consultation so that they know where their money goes. There's no question, there should be no question. When we ask them for more fees, they should be able to understand where it's going. And again, on my platform, I'm interested in indexing our fee to the CCPI to see that we don't lose buying power due to inflation as well.
I would agree. We do have a low budget for, not a low budget, we're paying the lowest student fees right now. And I think in terms of new student space, what we have to do is, we have to make sure that, as Justin just mentioned too, transparency is a big issue right now, and making sure that students know where their money is going. So what I would suggest is making a cost-benefit analysis, putting the cards on the table, just telling students, these are our benefits from creating new student space, and these are the drawbacks. The drawbacks being money being spent on it, but the benefits being all these different things that we can create. Considering maths, for example, we don't have that much of student culture here as you would like. we have the infrastructure, but just no one's implementing it. If you can try to sell it to the students, make sure that they're all on par with it, we have a majority, not just a 50% majority, but 2/3 majority of art students, which is difficult. Sorry?
10 seconds.
10 seconds? Oh. Just make sure students know, media students are informed, and that they make the decision, not us.
We'll end things out with a 60-second summation by each of the candidates.
I'm going to end it on a lighthearted note and basically say, you know, when you have a wedding, you have something old and something new, something borrowed and something blue. I represent that. I'm something old. I've been here for 4 years, but I'm something new. The AUS is new to me. I've only been here for a year, and that's not enough. I'm something borrowed because I was part of the SUS before I was part of the AUS. And I'm something blue because I was part of the SUS. But that's behind me. This is my promise to commit to the AUS. The AUS for me is not the other woman. This is my proposal. I'm coming in, and I really want to make the AUS my first love. And there is so much I want to do here. I want to spend the whole year with the AUS and really make it better. We can make this work, and I can see so much potential for us in the future. So please consider voting for me. My website is www.votejustin.ca. Thanks a lot.
Could you clarify what you mean by the other woman?
During my run this year, I've been a little bit ridiculed. Originally, I am a part of SUS, and I came on board to the AUS because I could see that they were having a budget problem, and I thought, gosh darn it, I can fix that. That's something I can do. Again, my colleagues have ribbed me from time to time about being a science student, but that's, you know, the fact is I'm a science student and I'm an art student. There is no, I'm a science student, but I'm an art student. And so arts is not the other woman, arts is my woman.
On that note, I've been married to arts ever since first year, so I don't know how it feels to actually switch over to someone else. But, no offense or anything. But I've been eating, breathing, sleeping, all arts ever since first year. I've been involved with Faculty of Arts, I've worked for the Faculty of Arts, I've worked with the Dean, I've talked to the Dean, I've done everything arts imaginable. And the reason I want to be president is because I see a lot of potential for the AUS, and I think we can do so much better. We already had a really great place, but we can do so much better. And that's why I want to commit myself for a whole full year to being president, to come back at a fragile time right now. We've just managed after a full year to put the AUS in a stable place, and it takes great leadership to actually continue that legacy and make sure that we can carry it on and make it a more sustainable society. So that's where I want to come in. I want to bring a leadership experience in, my experience with working with the faculty as well, make sure I have closer ties, and just make sure that the AUS gets back to its throne on the Ubyssey campus. Thank you.
But thank you to both the candidates, and thank all the dozen of you here and the tens of thousands inevitably watching online for viewing this debate.